announcement and winner got to go first.
Oh, that part's gonna come with the actual roleplay. Don't you worry. You have the
All
silliest
right.
concerns.
All right. So we will wait on the recording,
No,
and
the
then we
recording started.
will. Oh, we already fucking started then.
We are
All
kicking
right.
this pig.
Hello, Internet. I am
Hello,
currently
Internet.
touching my scrot.
Do we have the same? We have the same.
I'm not, but the Internet doesn't know that. Well, now they do
Well,
because you
now they
sighed
do.
like that, Blat.
Ah.
No, I sighed because you're now part of the crew that just. We know who you really are on the inside now.
We're part of the problem.
So does the internet.
The internet always knew. This delusion of privacy that you have is adorable.
Dude, my name is Idiot. If anybody is fooled by what I am about, that's their fault.
I don't disagree.
Alright, so last time you did a fuck ton of time manipulation.
Yep.
No, I did a smidge of time manipulation. There's no
Well,
fuck
you
ton
did
about it.
You did a fuck ton of study on time manipulation.
I did a couple days worth of time manipulation. Has nowhere near amount of fuck ton. Fuck ton can be described as a communal research from multiple individuals across a very diverse and widespread collective.
Buddy, I think you did a fuck ton of research because you caught up to me on the timeline.
Yeah, yeah.
I
dude,
did
that was
some
like
stuff
10
to pass the time.
Yeah, you did like 10 days worth of fucking research on that shit.
That's not a lot. That isn't even worth bringing to study.
It's
Dude,
240
it's
hours.
long enough. It's
That's
long
long enough
enough
for
that your
Harvard.
host is saying, "Hey, little voice in my brain, can we go somewhere that, doesn't smell like feces and rotting flesh?"
No, joke's on you. I don't got that little voice. I'm the little voice.
Exactly.
And I say
No,
what
that's
goes.
what he said. That's what he said. That's what your host is saying is, "Hey, little voice in my brain, can we go somewhere else?"
Please, can I take my body somewhere? Please.
I would like to not smell
Go.
the freaking rotting shit of dead people.
I've turned that sense off so it wouldn't bother you a long time ago. You're probably undergoing some sort of phantom sense. Basic, your mind producing the scent from something you've smelled before without actually having the ability to smell right now. But alright, let us go. Fascinating. Memory, olfactory response. Huh.
I will eat you if you do it. You've already gone irreyer. If you go a shotlu, I'm eating you.
Mm-hmm. If I go a shotlu, you won't know if you ate me or not.
If I go a shotlu, or if you go a shotlu, I'll damn well give it the old college try.
No.
And I have ways of telling.
But who are you gonna tell to?
Me. Myself and I.
You're gonna tell on yourself?
No, I'm going to tell on you too myself.
Ah, okay, there you go.
He does have an army, so that does track. Well, not quite an army, but a small,
It's at the very least.
a Normandy-style squad.
So you're saying that he has a small nest of beasts in the tens of thousands, but at 10 days of research is a fuck ton? Where are you getting your metrics?
To be fair, I had the
not
creating
each-
beast down to a
not
fine
each
science.
And the thing is, not one human is not enough to make a bug.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thing. So it's not a 1-for-1, and a bug is I'm gonna go ahead and break the little secret. It's a bit more intimidating than it actually is combat effective.
I'll fight you on that one.
No, I will allow. What I'm saying is, in compared to what a actual what you can do in your stray body,
Mm-hmm.
because Bug don't quite heal like you do.
That
I'm
does.
merely remarking
That's
on
what
the metric
that's
system
what
in
it
which you
boils down.
use to describe sizes and and lengths of time. If something 10,000 strong is a small amount, but spending less than 10 days on a research project is a fuck ton.
Homie, it took me 3 days to get that far.
Exactly.
3 days can be a fuck
Okay,
ton.
but here's the thing, freaking, I didn't describe the amount of human bodies he consumed. Alright?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're
So,
stuck on something that really doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out.
yeah, no, at this
Very
point, yeah.
strange.
And, well, here's the thing. If you got a guy nicknamed Tiny, freaking, you can bet your money he's gonna be fucking huge.
No, I've actually seen somebody call it tiny, and he's actually tiny, mostly because it's funnier that way. Makes them very angry.
Minnesota humor.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to parse sometimes.
I wouldn't actually call that Minnesota humor. I've been in Colorado for quite some time.
I call it northern humor.
I'm in southern humor.
There you go. If you would like some cereal, you can have some now.
Southern Colorado is not southern.
Regardless, the meat suit wants to go somewhere.
Go forth, meat suit.
All right, and he's going to walk around outside for a minute, and he's going to say, "Hey, little voice in my head, what was your name again?"
Panopticon.
Right. Pants Octagon. All right. Okay. Well, Pants Octagon, I
I'm
have
gonna
come to
trigger
a
all of his
realization.
chemical inputs so that he is a logical, calculating creature that has no sarcasm, has no funny. I don't need a meat suit that can't pronounce my own name and chooses not to put the effort into. So I'm just gonna neuter him chemically until he gets it. So now he's a cold, logical, rational thing. Go.
What the dick?
Um, yeah,
And he won't
there's a
even know.
degree to this that doesn't work. There is a degree to this that doesn't work. You know, you cannot simply rob him of his mind. That
Enough.
part will stay
I'm
active.
sculpting it. Chemicals is what determines everything that goes on with the brain, along with
In a
minute.
brain, but this isn't a brain. This is a freaking thing that looks like a brain from the outside.
I have been tapped into his senses.
You have been tapped into his senses, but that's not the same as what is going on. Remember that you are attached to not a human body, but
Where the
something else.
neuron impulses go.
Into the weird soul thing, I think.
Yeah, into the weird soul thing inside that burns you when you try to fuck with it too much.
Son, I had this bag right here. Why did you open the new bag?
Get my name correct, or we're going to have a very difficult interaction in the future. Panopticon.
All right. I was just trying to have some fun with you.
That's not fun.
Well, it is kind of for me, but shouldn't you know that already if you're like
No.
tapping into my freaking shit?
No. That's insulting, disrespectful, and honestly, does not point to a good fosterable relationship between us. If you can't get my name correctly, choose not to, and think it's funny.
Look, I'm trying to lighten the mood because yesterday I got shot in the fucking face. Or at least it felt like yesterday, but those bodies tell me otherwise. So unless I went into some kind of trance while you were doing your time thingy, or you fucked with me on some level, which I think kind of owes me a little bit of
No, it doesn't owe
being
you
able to
anything.
fuck with you a little bit on
No,
some
it
level.
doesn't. Because without me, you would be a corpse on the floor with half of your skull rotting, spread out across several meters. I put you back together after getting shot in the face with a gun, I was also able to help you get your revenge. Not only is that completely, if we're going to keep track of score here, that puts me about 3 or 4 up. I don't know you shit.
Okay, out of character correction. You didn't piece him back together. That healing is his, and it happened naturally on his own as a result of the power.
He doesn't know that.
No, and that's why I'm saying out of character.
He doesn't know
All
that.
right.
I don't care.
And he says, well, all that being said, I figure things are actually working. One of two things have really happened to me recently. Either A, I have some sort of fucking superpower, or B, I've lost my goddamn mind. Either way, I figure, fuck it, I'm going to enjoy it at this point, because I just sat in a room full of dead people who shit their pants 10 days ago.
Turned off your senses to your smell, so it shouldn't be a problem unless you were only thinking of rotting flesh and feces, which is very strange for you to fixate on.
Oh, well, I don't know where you thought you were able to turn off my sense of smell, but apparently it didn't fucking work because I smelled it the entire time.
Jam, I did turn that off. If I can't
No,
control what goes in and out, I can block what comes in.
True, but to actually limit the senses of your host without their permission doesn't quite work as you
He gave me
two
full
are.
permission. He gave me taciturn permission to take control for the whole experiment.
True, but naturally a human being is going to think, hey, I actually want to be a little bit aware, and senses are part of awareness. And because of the creature that this is, which is
So we're
designed.
retconning that. Okay. You
No,
just need to tell me that.
I'm not retconning the effects that you have to be able to freaking calm him and to freaking put him into an aggroed state. Because he's already seen before when this was basically being brute forced into his brain and was already freaked out, so was susceptible to it because he was not at himself, freaking that you were actually serving his benefit. So he's not anti you. The whole thing is that he's been sitting there smelling shit for a while because he wanted to stay aware, so you weren't able to block him because he did.
And I would have been alerted to the fact.
Not necessarily, because the whole thing is right now you two, while you have been working together, this motherfucker still don't even know his name, so he's going through somewhat of a freaking crisis.
Okay. So let me get this straight. The whole time in which I've been manipulating the signals coming in and out, both chemically and electronically, basically the biochemical signals and the neuron signals, not of the soul itself because I can't get in there, but on the periphery, basically playing gatekeeper. I have successfully manipulated him in all of these facets, but now you're taking that back? I am not able to do that?
Well, here's the thing. What was happening in this situation, now he's starting to say, wait a minute, you're going to do some experiment. I need to freaking pay attention so nothing sneaks up on us during all this while you're paying attention to this.
It
And
wouldn't have been.
this,
I had full ability to observe.
right, but this is what I'm talking about is you and your freaking host have to learn from each other things like that. The host doesn't know that you have full fucking awareness. And because the host is technically the one that is supposed to be in control, has you can't when he says, wait a minute, I need to be aware, he's going to be able to smell because of it might not allow particles in, but he will be able to detect the odors of them in what way he can understand, because it is a defense mechanism. All right. It's a whole thing of, hey, I'm freaking, like a human being smells freaking gas, they're going to get the fuck out of there. All right. An
You're
animal
giving me
smells a
really weird
predator, it's
examples
going to
that
get
really
out
don't
of
have
there.
anything to do with what was going on. If you remember, I went into a meditative state in which I had particle perception. If he was going to specifically wake up and start accessing senses you needed to tell me during that state, I was going to be absolutely aware of him doing anything during that time. You told me he went into a coma like state to let me do my thing. And I should have known him
No,
or
I
noticed
never
that
said
he
he
woke
went
up.
into a coma-like state. I said that he allowed you to take control. But there's a difference when it comes to being able to freaking completely block.
Okay.
See, here's the problem. The essential problem when you boil it all down is you're trying to take all individuality away from the fact that you even have a host. All right? So literally you're trying to take away a key point of the game. Freaking, I already had to give freaking Alex a brain dead host. Now freaking, why does everybody want me to keep changing everything when I say this is how the game works, and then constant attempts to subvert what I say how the game works?
Because you said the game with no written rules and no rules for us to go by until we literally smack our heads on it. We have no idea. So
Then why is it that every time I freaking smack your head on a fucking rule, you argue?
I go around it, or I try to, and then you go, no, you can't do that. I'm like, but this is not the way the body works. This is not the way people
Okay,
work.
but you're not a human. That's been freaking expressly clear freaking early on, is that the body is not a human body at all. And that there would be things in this game that did not logic by science and shit to as we understand it. That's the whole idea. The premise is you're dealing with shit that freaking sometimes when you look at the pattern, the closer you look, the less you actually see.
I don't care if he's a non-human or human. Every sentient species with senses has two things that are always commonalities: inputs,
Every
outputs.
natural creature. That's the whole thing that we're getting off, is that you're now talking about something that by its very definition defies that.
Great. Unnatural, natural. If you're sentient, you have the ability to sense the world around you and interact with the world around you. There are inputs and outputs. That is what I'm trying to control. What goes input and what goes output. I'm still trying to work on the outputs, but I can control the inputs, even if they're different, even if they are unnatural or maybe not chemical, or but there is
But
energy.
there's energy as far as you understand it, but just because there's energy doesn't mean you can control all energy. All right? Literally, you're a shapeshifter tapping in to his energy.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Just fine.
literally what you are. All right?
Sure.
Shapeshifting is your power. All right? Everything else is his power. All right? That's the whole thing. That power pool, that's the host. Literally, the host can live without you. but you need a source of energy to survive. Without you, the host has to spend more energy. That is what the whole thing was based around.
And I'm doing my methods to reconfigure that. Sure, it'll
Okay,
take me time.
but then why is it that even though I freaking allow everything to be completely different than what I had initially said that was the only playable way of the game, because that's what the whole thing was based around, now I'm constantly gotten by the fact that there's no rules in something I told you was highly experimental on day one.
Sure. And because of the highly experimental nature, things come and go.
Right. So why do I constantly have to freaking argue and fight with you when I'm trying to balance shit out and deal with a highly experimental aspect?
Because you're still trying to figure things out, and I'm pushing the bounds of the things that you obviously have some framework for, but haven't shared it with us yet. So I'm still here in the dark trying to figure out what is
Obviously
that
have
framework.
some framework here, freaking. No, not obviously have some framework here. Just basically can see freaking a crash at the end and am saying, hey, maybe we should take a different route. I can see the bridges.
Never once have you said, let's take a different route. This is not going to end well. That would be a different signal to me. That'd be like, okay, explain that to
What
me.
I'm
Why is this a bad
saying,
route?
what I'm saying, just like what freaking the whole argument we had the other day with freaking the going straight to mastering time
Just
is
won my
the
foot in the
fact
door.
that right, and you got your foot in the door, but you wanted more. You didn't want to freaking go get insight the way that insight was literally built around getting. You wanted to
News to me.
produce it from nothing.
Not nothing. Time itself is best described, unless you're going to go with superpowers, which cannot be explained, I suppose. The environment, passage of time itself, the watching of the decaying of bodies was actually supposed to be a exercise in watching the passage of time. And I don't have my foot in the door because there's a chain lock on it by your own description, so I don't really have much of my way in the door at all
No,
yet.
you've got your foot in the door. The whole thing is that the freaking yeah, now you're jimmying the lock off of it and you got to actually get the door open and walk through it. But the whole thing is that you're wanting a power that the potential usage of is being able to change entire canonical events, literally making headaches upon headaches for anyone trying to make sense of anything.
Sure.
And you wanted it in a single freaking setting of study.
Not
You didn't
by
want to
any
have to
rules
go
that I
out
know
and do
says
any
no.
work and no, but what I'm saying is freaking yeah, you don't know the rules yet. But if I say you've reached a point where you're not actually learning anything anymore, then you want to argue with me about that. And I'm literally telling you out of character knowledge because you haven't wandered around, you haven't met a trainer, you haven't actually learned any of this stuff, which was all intended to be taught when players actually interacted and asked the right questions to the right people that they interact with by, walking around and doing things. The whole idea was that people would come in and act like the idea was that if you were thrown into this situation, how would you personally react?
That's not possible because there's only one way of playing the character, which is the retrograde amnesia. I don't know how I would react. I don't know who I am. So you can't use that example.
No,
That is a
but
terrible example.
it's not retrograde amnesia. It is simply forgetting one's identifying information, but all of the traits and everything, all the knowledge of the world are still present. All right? That's the whole thing. I explain something and I tell you it's not retrograde amnesia because it doesn't fit that category, and it still gets repeatedly described as that.
That was not what was told to us at Terratration. But moving on. Obviously, whatever I've done in the last 4 sessions or what I have described is not correct. So we're going to go from what you've said from here forward, marked, by the way, as in the recording of the changes you made. We'll just continue to move forward. Because obviously this guy is a sarcastic ass. And if he wants to play sarcastic ass, then he gets to go play on his own. Get shot in the face again. Suffer from emotional situations and trauma. Let him go out and try and find food that he's willing to eat. Go have fun, host.
All right, so you're going to send him off without help then?
Well, if he has no desire to actually pronounce my name correctly and show me the respect I deserve, then, well, go.
Well, literally, he was in the process of saying your name right and saying it was just funny, and you were busy dressing him down about how offensive that was.
Yes.
And freaking on that, he had already said, hey, I'm losing my fucking mind.
Why?
So well, maybe because yesterday, freaking, I was sitting in that room where I killed a bunch of people with a freaking machine gun that I shouldn't be able to carry. Let's see. Oh, yeah, before that, I was hiding in a freaking room where I went invisible. And then, oh yeah, I got shot in the fucking face and regenerated
You keep
from that
coming back
shit.
to that. We've moved well past that. Get over it.
Oh yeah, get over getting shot in the face. You know what I was before that? I don't fucking know, but somehow I know that freaking it was something boring and fucking mundane. It
Oh,
was normal humanity, but I have no idea what the fuck my name is.
then make a new one. Who cares? Call yourself something.
You know what? And I'm cool with that. The whole point of what I was getting at is if I've got fucking superpowers or I've lost my damn mind, you know what? I'm gonna have a good goddamn time. Okay? Why should I sit here and be freaking scared when apparently I can kill anything in my way?
For now,
I just
I
don't
highly doubt that'll
want.
consistently produce the same results, which is why I pursue experiments and test the surroundings. Now you can even look above you, behind you, and below you at the same time.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. It's kind of weird seeing between my legs. I feel like my dick has an eye.
Okay, I'm sorry, but
That's not where I put the size.
that is totally unacceptably wrong, people. A
I didn't
mask
put that
between
down
our
there.
legs. Hello, where the fuck did all that come from? I'm sorry. I know this is.
I didn't put the sight strip down there.
I
They're all
understand
in my
that
head.
this is your
You
guys'
said you
game,
could see
but oh my
beneath
god.
him. You said you could see beneath him, and he just said he feels like that. He's not saying that it does. He's literally just trying to freaking relax the mood a little bit.
He doesn't need to. I can relax the mood a little bit, but apparently I can't do that anymore. calm juice. There you go. Calm the fuck down.
Hi,
The
Alex.
calm juice works.
What's up?
Not much. I messaged you.
Oh, I've been busy.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
when
will-
you get a moment.
Oh, sure. I'll check the message.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'm letting you guys go back to your game. Sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
Saul Gouda.
But yeah, he is calm. He's not upset. He just
No,
doesn't want to sit in that room anymore.
fine, but he has a heightened emotional state. So I'm returning that to a healthy, normal medium of calm.
Well, no, it's less of a heightened emotional state. He's simply freaking, like I said, he's going through a bit of a mental freaking break, but he's doing it very logically. That's why he's saying either I have superpowers or I'm freaking.
Or I'm being puppeted by a thing with superpowers that's slowly but surely taking over my body and killing me from within and supplanting me.
Or I'm losing my damn mind, in which case, freaking all three result in me not being able to do anything about that fact and should just have fucking fun with it.
Mm,
And so
not if he wants to survive it. There are worse things than getting shot in the head. I suggest we don't find them by doing anything and everything. There are many, many more powerful things out there. And whatever our combination is, we're not alone.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is I'm getting another one of them fucking itches in my head, and it's pointing in that direction. And you know what? This time, I would like to at least see what the fuck is bugging me.
Why do you consistently use freaking and fucking as your adjectives? That occasionally you want to punctuate your sentence structure with those type of descriptors, but as a overuse of such descriptors, it completely invalidates and kind of shows that you are a lower IQ entity. Perhaps change your speech structure, or at least practice awareness
Well,
of the way you
studies have
speak.
actually shown that people who use foul language and profanity actually have a higher IQ than people who don't.
And studies have also shown those who overuse it, while that may be the initial study, show that they don't. Those who use it occasionally and use it as part of their vocabulary, yes, that may be true. But those who overuse it show a reliance on it and show a very shortened vocabulary and word base, thus giving you the opposite.
So you really want a vocabulary competition, head or voice in my head?
Let's play nice, guys.
I am just showing pattern recognition and showing it to you so that you're aware of it.
Yes, and I'm fully aware of vocab. It was one of my best subjects in school.
How do you remember that?
I don't know. That's a good point.
Hmm.
That's actually something that maybe we should look into if, I'm to find out who the hell I was.
If you care to find out who you were.
It's a little bit difficult with somebody constantly trying to forcibly change my mind.
Hmm?
Maybe we could reach an agreement on this.
Potentially. But for now, you wish to go out into the world. Feel free. Pursue that signal. Follow that itch that has formed on your skull.
All right. So he's going to head out and start down the road, and then he's going to stop. And he's going to look at an old car, and he's going to say, "Man, I really wish this thing was fucking running. Then I wouldn't have to freaking walk."
Walking should not tire you even in the slightest, nor should inconvenience you. That is a death trap. You ride in a vehicle like that draws attention, causes noise, paints a target. Also, the physiological body is significantly smaller and imminently more shapeable to your needs at any time, with my help, of course, than that inflexible, highly susceptible coffin. Just run faster. If you want to get somewhere fast, surely you can use your new body and move very quickly.
The hosts are not supernatural creatures. They work.
The hosts are supernatural creatures.
Can I finish here for a minute? It's not like we could do anything a regular human can't do. I mean, yeah, we might walk a little faster
Well, I mean,
or whatnot,
I can.
but for the most part, we're still normal outside of you on our ass.
Well, you are twice the strength, speed, and freaking.
Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
shut up, Bill.
I'm just gonna like push, go quickly. I'll even push the air molecules out of the way for you. That car can go probably significantly slower than you.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I still think there's a quicker way to get there. He starts scratching his chin and looking up at the buildings and looking down the road. And
No, just don't draw attention to yourself like that.
alright, have it your way. And he starts walking down the road just casually.
I mean, he doesn't have to. He can jog or run. He's invisible. So
Well, if he's invisible, then how would he be drawing his attention to himself by going up anywhere?
if you move a little bit slower, it's easier for me to calculate that bending of the light.
Which is why he's walking casually.
Sure.
And so he's heading down the path towards the itch he's feeling. And it is growing stronger and stronger. And then finally it's going to sort of jump, all except for one tiny little twitch of it that he keeps feeling and saying, whatever it is, it just got a hell of a lot smaller.
All right. But you can still sense it, correct?
Yeah, I can tell it's coming from straight ahead of us, but we're gonna have to get past those buildings up ahead unless you want me to make a few turns.
You're able to sense it at great distances through objects, so if you want to make a few extra turns, you can. You could also scale the side of those structures.
Well, apparently I need your help for that.
Sure.
All right, and so method of scaling you're using?
Claw.
All right, so he's just Spider-Man climbing up the side of it with the claws.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to scramble up and look over the other side, and in the distance he's going to see a freaking large freaking what's the word I'm looking for?
Building. Condo.
Almost like a
Skyscraper.
dome covered in spikes. and he's going to say, "Okay, it's there, and it feels smaller, but there also feels like there's more of it. I don't know. It's weird. It's like there's a bunch of shit there, but it's like it's all the same shit."
Probably some sort of nest, and that is a reproductive cycle.
I am aware of what a nest is. Thank you.
I don't know what you know.
Technically, the fact that you're aware of a nest means that he's aware of a nest. Like because you didn't know what a nest was until you freaking started trying to tap into what he knew.
Mhm.
You know, when you came into the world, you knew literally nothing. What'd you do?
I'd argue with you on that, but I mean, I had a previous existence before that, yes?
Yes, a previous existence that did not apply to this reality in any way. Like, just to be legit, freaking what you were and what you are aren't.
I think we lost the DM.
Hello?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, like I said, what you were and what you are not necessarily the same thing.
Hmm.
Alright, so you got any plans or suggestions to him after he points that out? That it
I have
feels like something.
plans and I have suggestions, but that doesn't mean I'm sharing them immediately.
Alright. Well, he's gonna look down off the edge and then he's gonna say, well, maybe I don't want to jump, and climb
You'll
down
break
the other
quite a few
side
things.
slowly.
I don't know how you break anything, considering the majority of your body is not Euclidean in such a way, but somehow something breaks, but that's a moment of pain. You could just climb down.
That's what he started doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, he said, I guess I'm not gonna try jumping, and started to slowly climb down the other side.
And I am making these observations.
So you're
On
being
the
a dick
thought
to
of-
him.
No, I'm just pointing out that jumping, like the last time, will have consequences, but we can always just put you back together. In fact, it may make your armor stronger, but again, up to you.
Where the did my Alright, so I'm gonna have to take a short break to go to the bathroom real quick.
All right, we'll pause the recording.
Mm.
All right, so there he was, right? No shit. Standing in front of,
He was climbing down a building.
yeah, climbing down the building. Doing building climbing exercises.
And then he was heading off towards the massive spiky dome of death that he saw and keeps feeling now multiple itches coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna put a picture in chat of what's at the front of it.
Mm.
Like, this is just the front part. The rest of it has its own secrets.
Ah, okay. Secret. Oh. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that works. All right. And at this point, he is going to freaking look around and say, well, whatever's in there Feels like it's smaller than me.
See it if you'd like. I mean, the sign is very instructional.
He's gonna look at the sign and then say, seriously? I get a lecture about being offensive for making a joke about your name. This guy tells you to fuck off and you think that's a good idea?
Well, that's the point of signs. The signs are an instructional, left for any one of those who have the same language. You know, that is a sign. It's not
Well,
the
what a
wordage I
sign.
would have gone with, but I mean, it gets the point across. It's even spelled properly. Missing punctuation, though. Is it fuck off? Fuck off. Fuck off! I don't know how to. Without the punctuation, there's a lot left up to interpretation.
The rest of the junkyard looks like this. It's all spikes pointed outward.
So I suppose it's up to your interpretation. I don't exactly know which one I'd go with. I think it's kind
Well,
of.
I tend to think it's fuck off jackass, but the jackass is somewhere inside.
Still, that would make a sentence. And what would the punctuation on that look like?
I think you're missing the point of what I'm saying, he says as he starts to walk in.
What is a jackass? Is that a.
Jackass is a donkey, but it's commonly used to refer to some dumb son of a bitch that wants to freaking cause problems. So in this sense, I am a jackass as well.
Well, it doesn't
But
particularly
we're willing to
mean
go
that
with
you're a
that.
jackass. That's up to your own interpretation. Once again, it doesn't specifically say that in the instructions.
No, in the instructions it says it's a fucking donkey.
No, it just says fuck off. That's it. Nothing else. No punctuation, just that one instruction.
Still hung up on that sign. Well, there appear to be a few giant cockroaches ahead, so...
Oh, those aren't visible from the outside.
he walked in. That was the
Oh,
whole thing, is
okay.
he's moving in.
He walked in. How did he get through the spikes?
Well, he walked through the gate. So if
Okay.
you're saying they're behind the spikes and everything, then...
So the gate is like probably a good 3 feet in front of the spikes, and that's about it.
Alright. So he walks up to the spikes and sees, basically tiny openings, but no clear way that he could fit through.
Mm-hmm. There's like plates that have been lapped on top of plates, so there's little gaps in between them where like they've been what looks like crunched together by hand. Like something grabbed these with an incredible grip strength, but a little less width on the hand than he's probably got, and just squeezed the two pieces of metal together until they fused.
So basically press welding.
Yep.
Alright.
What's your strength at?
My strength?
Hmm?
Currently my strength is at an effective 120.
Sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, a little bit. See that thing where that Noah learned about hydraulic strength? Spiders aren't the only guys that have that.
Not more.
Now, the freaking flip side of that is that freaking it doesn't quite apply in the same way that strength would normally apply. Like, you basically get the option of quick freaking strike or the slow press of far more force.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not a constant strength by any means.
Right. That's the
But
whole
it's
thing is because it's like the only reason trap jaw ants have the force that they have is because of the ligament that they're basically stretching to a fucking ungodly degree and locking in place.
hmm. And I've got all kinds of little bugs that I've eaten.
Well, since we're not following the instructional, should we be polite?
Well, from the looks of these spikes, they clearly don't want anyone in.
Usually that is a defense mechanism.
Yes, that's kind of what I meant by they don't want anyone in. So, unless you can think of a way for us to slip in, then what do you say we knock on the freaking wall and see who answers?
That works for me. I have plenty as a way to slinking inside, but knocking on the front door seems to be a fun potential interaction. Although you would have to prepare yourself for an extremely explosive, violent outburst of territorialism.
Now don't go getting me turned on, he says while he knocks on the freaking
I don't understand why that would
plates.
be, or that would evoke that type of response. It's an aggressive territorial behavior, which means they'll try and kill you instead of actually being civil, or at least scare you away.
Yes, I am aware of that. And continues to bang louder on the metal plates between the spikes.
He gets no answer.
Hello? Anybody in there? I don't think anybody's home, boss.
Or they're just not responding.
Yeah, 'cause I can totally feel that itch coming from inside. What was that about the many ways to slink in there?
Find an opening. Preferably one of the largest ones you can, but I know they're going to be within a standard deviation of specific diameters.
Well, he's gonna look around and find one that, to his recollection, seems to be the largest of the ones he can see.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna say, all right, there's a hole back there between those three spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been welded a grate on there that I could. That's the best I got for you. It's big on the outside, but if I look in there, it looks like there's some kind of metal mesh back there. So got to be a grating.
Sure. Jen, hosts have bones at
No.
one point. Then I'll be like, all right, well, you don't have bones, so there's not really a restriction on to how well we can stretch your biology. So let's compress down.
The only compression restriction is the conservation of mass. So don't get too tiny or
No,
too much
I'm
mass in
literally
a tiny
stretching
area.
us out into a long spindle,
Giggity.
Yeah,
like an
no,
octopus.
that's perfectly the thing I was getting at is please don't make a black hole.
No,
The Schwarzschild radius is a thing.
I'm aware. I'm doing an octopus.
All right. That is that's all I'm saying with that one. Is you can kill yourself by making a black hole.
Octopus.
All right. So, I'll have you roll your control.
I think it's just 112.
Alright, you easily slip through the gaps.
See?
Hardly an issue, and you're in a tiny corridor surrounded by spikes. It seems to lead through a maze of upturned cars.
See? Not a problem.
Alright, so now we got left or right. Which one do you want?
As in, I would be going that direction? Because I don't think that's how that works. Which one do I prefer the collective that is us going?
Yeah, the second one.
I'll just kind of use my perception to kind of figure out what's left, what's right.
Well, from what you can perceive, it's all pretty much the same. There's a scattered group of small lights in the inner dome, but they all seem to be moving around randomly, as well as there seems to be some sort of pattern of dots traveling through the entire structure, leading to a larger dot that is about, I'd say, half the size of your own power.
Well, its rating should be about 140 power.
I don't think it matters at this point. I don't discern any noticeable difference between the pathways. You're out for a
Not
stroll. Pick one. Which one's your favorite hand?
okay. Then we're going to the right.
Mm.
And he goes off to the right, around a corner, and is met by a very long, narrow pathway, completely dotted up with spikes where, in human form, walking through would not be a viable option.
Oh. Would you like some assistance reconfiguring your form so that you can easily move through this rather trepidatious terrain?
Maybe, but I was thinking about something. Well, you know how we did that whole, time thing? Well, what if there's more we can fuck with? And he's gonna hold out his hands, and the first few spikes are going to heat up red and begin to melt.
How does
And
that work?
he
Wouldn't it?
just spent freaking 50 power to heat the metal and cause it to freaking begin distorting and melting at the points that he was focusing said heat.
And this has to do with time. How?
It was more of a matter, like he said, didn't have to do with time. It was the fact that you fucked with time made him start thinking, wait a minute, what if I concentrate really hard on some shit because he used me to do this time thing? And so he concentrated really hard on freaking something to see if he could make something happen. Remember,
Okay.
at this point, he's not got a plan. He's just fucking around to see what he can do.
I'm just gonna basically report my observation. And how does that melting it have to do with time?
It doesn't. It's just apparently something I can do if I really want to. And you're going to note the power loss. He is kind of unaware of it to a degree.
There is a reservoir within your body that you drain every time you try and use powers.
Okay. So maybe we don't do that often, but it's good to know we have it in our repertoire at least.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what else I can do if I really put my mind to it.
Supposedly. You'll have to be very careful about your approach.
No, absolutely. If I'm spending up some of our power freaking just with something like that, then we'll need to.
Gem, is it 50 or is it 35? Because I have 15 energy recycling.
Then it's 35.
Okay.
Then it is 35.
I'm gonna see if I can focus on recycling as he's acting. I will then observe his energy expenditure and try and further recycle waste energy.
All right. I'll let you roll a D100 to see if it increases any. And if it does, basically by how much? 7.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of look at him. Well, fortunately, I was able to reduce the energy consumption. The more you use the powers, the better I get at reducing how much of the reservoir you use by making sure there's less waste energy. So experimenting's fine. That way I can reduce the amount of energy expenditure and allow us to do more things more often where other individuals could not because they haven't perfected their energy management.
All right. Now, because of something, I'm going to stop for I'm going to stop and bounce to Alex for just a moment, simply
Okay.
because
Mm-hmm.
you just fucking, like, he just melted a portion of the thing, and basically the little dots you're detecting is Alex has little relays that he can tell what's going on and shit like that in his
Yep.
fort. So he knows that you're here and what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to have a opportunity to react.
Sure.
Reaction.
At the moment, we are bringing some of the drones online. One of the bug is tapped to control them as my little general boy. As a note, the drones should be basically transparent to symbiote sight, and the bug that's controlling them should have a power of 2.
All right. Now at the freaking same note,
Mm-hmm.
the drones are basically just mind controlled humans at this point.
No. The drones are full shaped like bug. They have all of that combat ability, but they have no minds of their own. They require that they are within range of a relay or a primary coil in order to receive orders and do things. Otherwise, they just sort of act crazy.
All right, then I will only give you a maximum of basically the amount of humans you've taken divided by 2.
Yeah, 10,000.
All right.
Well,
So
10,200. 10,000.
yeah, it was a little bit over 10,000.
12,500. That's what it was, if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, that's fine. But
Right.
yeah, I'm spinning up like 30 of them. and assigning them to a primary coil. And then we're going to observe the power output. What are these guys doing? What's currently going on? I just saw a
Observe the power
host.
output of the intruders.
Yes. There's one
Okay.
intruder, right?
Yes, there is one intruder.
His power is currently about 9,500.
Somewhere upwards of 9,000, but you don't have any
Hold on.
means of
Are you
detecting it. You just
saying
know it's
it's
massive.
over 9,000?
I am saying it's over 9,000.
Fantastic. All right. And they're not disguising it at all.
Not in the least, as far as the power aspect of it.
Okay, but he just burned a bunch of energy to cause some sort of energy.
Yeah, some sort of heat transference in one of your tunnels.
Okay. All right. So clearly it's another stray, right?
At this point, you don't even know what that is. You
Right.
just know that this is a
It's
power
another.
source similar to your own, but um,
But is it another
and
host?
your little detection things indicate that it being the puppet body similar to the puppet body that you have
Mm-hmm.
that is simply up and walking around.
Okay.
But your auditory detection indicate that it is at least attempting communication either with you or something else.
Okay. So we're going to take the nearest relays, and we're going to fabricate tympanic membranes in them so that they can observe vibration in order to figure out what it's communicating. Basically, I'm growing like just an ear, but
Yeah,
without all the
you're
external
growing
parts.
ears
Yep.
basically on the thing.
It's just a little hole now, but it's got a sort of like a drum set top that serves like, well, like your eardrum, but that's what it do.
All right, I will have you roll your control to modify your relays to have better auditory receptors.
Okay. I would also like to begin the process of taking 200 of my control and improving my die on that. Is that an ascension? Is that what that is?
That is not ascension. Ascension is basically a level up for you, but you are basically on the cusp of that. You really both are on the cusp of an ascension. The first one comes pretty easy. The second one takes a little while longer.
Okay. But at this point, I would like to condense my control during that process that you mentioned.
All right, so subtract 200 points from your control modifier, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get 2 D100 instead of 1.
All
Mhm.
right. And those are added together?
Yes, they
Okay.
they it's 2D100 plus your modifier now.
Gotcha.
And I will allow with your coils, but to make a true clone of yourself, you literally are handing off one of these 100s to the clone of yourself,
That's
the
fine.
true clone.
That's
But
fine. I got a
then the true
199 on that one.
clone must take half of what the original has. So as far as half control and half like half modifier and half power,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and can't hand it back.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep my little coils the way they are then, because that doesn't seem like an efficient system.
It does, but not as a frontline system. It's more of a in case you die system.
Sure, but I mean, I've already got that.
You're more likely to die to split yourself in half that you can't recombine at any time than to keep it together. So there's no.
Not necessarily, considering the sheer scale of how you can die. Like, there's shit that can straight up fucking delete you.
Sure.
Well, I have options. So yeah.
No, exactly. More options is more ways that you can squirrel away a part of you into a corner of the map that nothing is looking at.
Mm-hmm. Was now decayed. I can't go on. But yeah, at this juncture, we're shifting the nearby relays. I got a 199 on that roll. We're shifting the nearby relays to sort of like have a suite of sensory organs. We're essentially converting this ear to serve as like an echolocation style function as well.
Alright. So essentially, I'm going to let you know exactly where he's at, which you don't really need the echolocation because you know that he's near whichever relay because they're like parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, you can now fully hear his conversations. And with the knowledge gained from the humans you've gathered, you freaking easily understand the full scope of what he is saying.
Okay, so he's definitely speaking to another entity that is not visibly present. So either a symbiote or a stealthed
Individual,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. You're breathing in your mic again.
Is it one half of the conversation, or are you able to hear both sides?
He's only able to hear what the host says out loud.
And so
No,
he's talking
those.
about like.
Now, at this
Go ahead.
point, you are going to sense a additional presence, but you can't see it.
Okay. These guys aren't
Well,
being triggered by the pheromones at all in the air, are they?
No, the pheromones seem to have zero effect on them.
Okay, so they're definitely a symbiote pair.
well, I
Symbiote
wouldn't have
host.
gone so far as to damage somebody's home like that, because that could be a triggered response to an attack or an imminent threat. I was thinking more kind of be indistinguishable from the environment and flow around and through the environment rather than destroying it, but you do you.
He's going to laugh and say, "Look, I'm sorry. I was just trying to freaking make the path more accessible without, having to rely on you for everything. You did say that experimenting was good.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, you did that after I freaking did it, but hey,
Well, experimentation is good, yes. Choosing what type of experiments is also good. We're not in our own territory. This is definitely, in the way it's constructed, in a very specific design, meant not for human habitation or movement. So we're dealing with a non-human entity, most likely, based off if this is a common pathway. I mean, the spikes alone should indicate that the human shape is not even part of the architectural consideration. I would have suggested something else as the experiment, but too late. Pick your experiments wisely. Location and reason they should be prime considerations.
well, the way I see it is I tried talking to him. Nobody wanted to freaking answer me. So,
Okay.
I'm just gonna bust my way in there till somebody starts talking to me.
I think that's a foolish idea, but go for it if that's what you feel is right.
Well, all
What would your
things
response
considered.
be if this was our territory and someone came in causing all sorts of destruction just because we were not responding to them? And they just started destroying things until there was a forced response, which will most likely be aggressive. So prepare for a fight.
Well, until yesterday, that response would have been to cower and run into a corner. But today, things are looking different. So, last chance, buddy. I'm about to start heating up the inner wall. I'm coming through.
I still don't think this is the logical approach. Just flow through the corridor.
It's a trap. That's why there's a corridor. And
Okay.
with that, he's going to put his hand on the inner wall, and it's going to start heating up and turning red.
Okay. So he's expressing power at this point, right?
Yes, he's pouring
Okay.
power out and melting a hole in the next line of defense between him and the inner sanctum.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna let him melt that. I'm just, essentially the first area that they slithered through, and then they came down this hallway, melted the spikes, and then they moved up to this wall and are melting the wall down.
Yeah, basically.
All right, cool.
You're using power again. That
Yep, another 50 minus your
Efficiency,
28.
regen.
recycling.
Or yeah,
Alright.
recycling.
I'm gonna do it again. Ugh.
You don't have to roll or yeah, minus your recycling roll, that is right.
I'm adding to my recycling roll, so that's probably just one.
Can I tell that this recycling
Yeah.
technique is happening? Can I pick up on that at all?
I'm going to bed. I'm gonna put dinner away. Don't forget to lock them up and turn this fan on right here. And turn.
Alright, will do.
Time it is supposed to be 11.
Yeah, that would be wise. You at this point, yes, after your sensory upgrades, you will detect a slight change in the power usage of the creature the first time it used the intruder the first time it used the melting versus this time. That it
Okay.
somehow spent less power this time.
Okay. It spent less power to perform the same effect. Sure. So, I think Jormungand is like, oh, that's neat. I didn't even think about that. Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Let him, whatever he's doing next. I'm observing at this juncture.
Alright. Exactly how many layers do you have? Because he just came through layer 2 from
Like
the
a
outside.
dozen.
Alright, so about 10 more layers.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Okay.
going to look at the wall and scream, "Motherfucker!"
Well, there was an instructional sign ahead, as we came in. It was very telling of what they thought of individuals that were not invited.
As a note, there's no light in here whatsoever.
Yep.
Okay. DM, while that's happening, a plate of metal shifts over the hole he just made, and there's a vibration, and then it pushes partially into the metal around the hole they made and seals them in.
All right. How exactly is this done? Like,
So one
is
of the
it one of
bugs,
your relays or is it one of the bugs?
one of
Okay,
the coils is just taking a full plate of steel, pushing it over the hole, and then using energy oscillation to vibrate the molecules to phase it partially into the steel around it.
I would like to observe that because I can see behind me.
Yeah, and like I forget. Did we put energy oscillation as one of your skills?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm quite good at
Okay.
it.
Okay. With my energy observance, I should be able to see that very well. Maybe pick it up myself.
Yes, that is what I was getting at. Is you can roll your energy oscillation. Freaking for, or you don't have to roll your energy oscillation. I meant roll energy observance to see the oscillation. Sorry.
I would bring up, not to make things too hard on you, Blatt, I would bring up that I do have power concealment, meaning that the expression of power should be dulled considerably.
Correct, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing to observe.
Exactly.
What
It's only at
that
50.
means, no, that's a perfect thing to bring up because what that means is that now we have a contested roll.
Oh, okay.
You roll concealment, he rolls observance.
So how does my
Highest
roll
roll
go
wins.
together? Do I get my control attached to that?
No, it's
Energy
literally
observance?
just energy concealment roll versus energy observance roll. So 100 plus
This
the
won't go well for me.
skill.
Tell you what, I don't. With the amount of control that he's accumulated, if I can't borrow my host's control number, I don't think I can actually compete unless he completely bombs the roll. Because if he gets his control vector attached to it.
Okay. No, he's not getting control. He's just getting his concealment skill. It's literally concealment skill versus.
Right, but he gets 2d100.
And
we'll see. We'll see.
Like I said, I don't want to make it too easy on you, but I'm not trying to make it too hard on you either, man.
No, but at the same time, the difference between those doesn't equate out to a complete fail. You are within 30 of him, and the fact of the matter is that you're gonna get you're gonna basically get roll 1d 100, and you're gonna get a little bit of the damn
Energy
thing.
oscillation.
Basically, yeah, you're gonna get freaking okay, I was 10%, so you get 7 to understanding the energy oscillation that he just used.
Also, what was that one thing where he was interfering?
Concealment, you don't actually pick up on that part of it.
Okay.
You would have gotten that if you had beaten him. Then you would have understood everything that went down right there. But that part is hidden.
I'm gonna point out to my host. Well, there, that right there. It looks like the. I was able to pick up some of what that was, but there's some sort of interference. I clearly saw it, but it wasn't as clear as it should have been, which is strange. Well, what do you want to do, host? We can go back and burn out that wall.
Okay. Question for Alex.
Yo.
Is the which side of the wall from the intruder is the bug on?
The current coil is on the other side of the wall. So he's
So
currently
it was
in the first
from
gate.
deeper in the
No.
spiky hallway, and then came out and sealed it up.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened is the relay opened a portal to the space where I store my biomass, and the bug emerged out of that space.
All right.
And
Okay,
then
so he's
scuttled
gonna
over and
start.
grabbed a plate and went.
The host is gonna bang on that plate and say, "Hey, hello, I know you're there."
The host will hear scuttle, 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 scuttle as tiny, sharp feet disappear back down the hallway, and it begins taking the metal and reshaping it in order to refuse the spikes. But it's looking at them and going, "All right, cool. So these were melted. Somebody introduced high energy, and we're going to try essentially, you know what? The bug is going to do experiments on trying to make it so that they don't melt so easy. We'll just leave it at that."
All right. So, um, I'm gonna think on exactly how the bug is going to work on that, and while we do that, the host is going to basically look at Panopticon, or not look at Panopticon because he's in his head, but he's basically going to cock his head to the side and say, "Well, apparently they're just going to fix all the melting we do, so
Further we go in, the harder it will be to get out.
unless we do that squid thing, then it should all be easy."
I was wanting to do that at the beginning, but you do.
Okay.
Something is definitely aware of our presence.
Okay. You want me to figure another way? Alright, alright. Well, let's try something other than melting this time. How far in is it possible to see from this position?
There are no lights in here.
Right, but as far as clear pathing, not so much as light, because he's basically able to borrow stray vision and see the lights and see like walls in spite of light. You know, see darkness and
Energies.
light.
Yep.
It's light has no effect on the symbiote's vision. That's what he's basically borrowing is Panopticon's perception of the world with lights and all of that bathed in
I
that.
think there might be another individual in the same, well, like us. They have a voice in their head and a host.
Well, they are not responding, so
Put your hand up against that other metal plate. I learned something, just a little bit of it, but perhaps if I'm able to utilize it, it could be. Here, try this. I'm gonna try and have him energy oscillate through the metal plate.
Alright, so he's going to basically oscillate the energy and use that to the
Phase
energy
through.
oscillation to phase through or cut through.
I'll leave it up to him. I want to see what he does with it.
Because he's basically going to cut through like it's a damn welding torch because he just saw it used as welding, you know, so he's going to cut through like it's a torch.
I mean, like, that would take too long. Just push the molecules out of the way using energy oscillation. Let us phase through. What?
All right, I'll have you roll energy oscillation.
Okay. Is it just me, or do I get a control because he's helping? I don't know how that works. I don't really know when I get the control bonus because he is helping.
Well, control bonus is primarily for shape shifting and actions in combat from the symbiote.
Okay.
So, usually with a skill like this, it's just the skill. Once in a while, under certain circumstances, I might be convinced to allow a control bonus to go to it, but usually it's just the skill and its bonus. So. All right. So he's going to
So the skill
manage
rating plus a
to,
D100.
right. So basically, he's going to manage to phase through quicker, but it is going to leave molten slag hole in the wall as he passes through. So it's not quite perfect.
I'm like, oh, that was a bit more incendiary and molten than I anticipated, but it was much faster than trying to cut it.
Can I observe what he did and try and learn more of my own energy oscillation from it? Watching him use it in a different way?
You will roll your energy observance that so do
Does
you
he have energy observance, or
at this point he can roll a d10. That's or a d100. That's what you gain off of this is you've learned energy observance. So
Okay.
you're not quite able to learn more of the energy oscillation, but now you've learned his energy observance. So
I
now
would
you're
argue,
becoming
hold
more.
on. Because I have a power manipulation ability that I gained from messing with my own power source. And that's what I've been using in terms of like like manipulating energy and identifying things. Because I do
You've been
already
using
have
your
a.
energy oscillations.
Well, no. Energy oscillation is for manipulating it. I had a base power that I've been calling partition, which is what my base experiments were in order to like figure out how to manipulate my own power in the first place. Because that was the one that I was rolling to like discover how to use it at all.
All right. In that case, then freaking, I will concede and give you 1 point in energy observation already from that experiment, and then
from bug?
from when he and the bug swarm were buried in the river trying to hide their power and examining each other's power and learning from
Oh
it.
no, this was before that. Remember, I had a.
Right, you played with your power a little bit. So did he. And that's why I'm saying that because of all of that, I'm going to give you 1 point. And what I'm going to do is you're going to roll that against a difficulty of 50. If you get that, then I will give you 10% of whatever you roll to your energy oscillation skill.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm basically giving you a challenge on this one in order to pull it off.
Okay.
He rolled pretty good.
All right, so you get 8 to your energy oscillation then.
Oscillation or observation?
Oscillation. The observation stays at 1 point. He got
Okay.
1 point given to him for all that he had done on that, but allowed him to gain the 8 points more to his oscillation from
Sure.
observing that
Okay.
from you.
I'm gonna make a note on my partition ability that it is an observational ability then, as well.
Well, partition would be your ability to make the coils and the drones. So
Mm-hmm.
I
So
would
it's
actually recommend you make a separate energy observation with 1 point in it.
all right.
was a bit abrupt, but I guess we can continue to hone that.
Okay. That's...
And just to be clear, the only reason that I'm kind of limiting you to just the 1 point on that is look at your control by comparison.
It's really
All
good.
right. Yeah, you can destroy him in a fight. Okay.
Yeah,
You'd
he's got
have
a bigger role, but I got a couple powers that may.
right. It would have, but what I'm saying is that base stats against base stats, lacking anything else, he would have to roll extremely shitty and you roll extremely well in order for you to have a chance in just an open I punch you, you punch me situation.
And we've had about, give or take, about the same amount of screen time.
It has to do with the fact that his host has no brain, which means that while your host can do these powers and open your mind to new ideas and do weird things that necessarily you on your own wouldn't equate to, you wouldn't have gained those extra points in your recycling and stuff and be learning more if you had a host like his, because his is just laying in a fucking heap. That's why he made it into a fucking egg.
Yeah, host, do your thing. You phase through it.
Host, do
All
you
right.
work?
Well, there you go, host. Look,
He's
that was faster
gonna...
than cutting. Yes.
All right. That one is going to be freaking well, I am all right. Normally I would have charged points for that, but I realize I haven't been charging Alex for energy oscillation except for the 5-point catalyst when converting.
Yeah.
No, you
Well,
can charge me for that.
Well, that's sort
So
of the. I wouldn't.
It's
I wouldn't
50, right?
charge him either on energy oscillation because of the way I built it was incredibly
yeah,
mindful of paying that cost.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So the energy oscillation, I might condone the first time that he uses it costing freaking 5 power, but I'm not gonna actually. Your recycling is enough to repay that, so I'm not actually gonna charge you on that one. All right,
Makes sense.
just simply because logically there's no point in it. So
No,
you
I have not seen it.
he's gonna basically just say, all right, then I guess we're going deeper then. We're gonna go deeper till somebody answers my question.
But if they're not able to speak your language, that
If they're not able to speak my language, what kind of a question is that? They built a thing.
yes, ants build too. Same with bees, wasps.
You know, for somebody who was hung up on that sign earlier, you seem to have failed to realize it was in English.
Oh, I do know it was English, but I am pointing out the fallacy that things that cannot communicate would thereof lack the ability to make stuff and shape their environment into a territory / nest. Absolutely, obviously somebody put that up there, but they may not be home. I don't know. Maybe this is automated. But do as you wish.
Only one way to find out, he says as he begins
Heavy sigh.
phasing his way through the next layer.
Oh boy. Alright, well, fine.
And are there any reactions as he begins phasing his way through layer after layer?
Yes. So the next layer that he phases through, he gets about 2 steps into the area and the floor collapses, and there's just a bunch of spikes down there.
Reflex to catch self.
Yes. You can roll reflex, and that is 100 plus 20.
Trapdoor spiders.
All right. So basically, do you have a preferred method of avoiding this, or is it up to me to determine how you avoid this?
No, just spread out a bunch of tendrils.
Okay, so you basically catch yourself 2 feet after dropping.
No, not 2 feet. Immediate.
No, that's what I'm saying. You catch yourself right away, but you're gonna kind of slink about 2 feet from the simple force of dropping and catching yourself.
Sure.
And you're still well above the spikes. And Freak, your host is going to look around and say, "Well, holy shit! You're gonna have to try better than that, asshole!"
No, host. Don't antagonize them.
I feel antagonized.
Heavy sigh, host.
Heavy sigh, host. I am incapable of bodily
Exasperated
autonomy
feelings.
noises.
Expression of exasperation. Heavy sigh.
Heavy sigh of irritation.
As
Perhaps
you
proceed
pull him
with a
to
little
the
bit of
edge,
caution,
the host is. As you pull him to the hedge, the host is gonna say, "Man, you're offended by me. This guy's trying to kill us, and you're still playing his side."
I'm not playing his side at all. I'm merely pointing out observations of territory and terrain and the present. That was not an attempt to kill. That was us breaching further into a obviously fortified piece of territory that is specifically designed to repel invasive entities.
Good point. Next wall. Next wall. He just
Of
says
course,
as he
host,
turns-
if that is what you wish.
He turns and puts his hands to it and fuses through or phases through that one as well.
All right.
I'm going to slink one of the hands through with observational nodes on it so that we don't fucking fall or get ambushed again.
Oh, there's ambushes everywhere.
And the host is like,
when you
this asshole.
when you slip through the next walkway, there's just skulls. Just piles and piles of skulls forming an ossuary. And there's a light mist coming down off of the ceiling. It's stomach acid.
Well, host, that does not appear cohesive or useful to our continued biology and existence. That looks acidic, reminiscent of further study and particle analysis shows some sort of digestive fluid aerosolized. Shall we proceed?
He's going to look at it and say, "Well, you said experiments was good." So he steps out into the mist, and you're going to experience a severe burning all over for about 2.3 seconds. And now I want you to increase your maximum health for your symbiote. You as the symbiote, your maximum health 200.
Sturdy.
All right. Now your
Extreme
current health
displeasure.
stays the same. Your current health stays the same, but your maximum has increased to 200.
Heavy sigh. Extreme
I will
displeasure.
Also, say that you have developed sort of a yellowish green sheen to yourself, and the acidic burning no longer happens.
Ouch. Expression of pain. Extreme discomfort. Happy now, host?
Well, at this point, the pain has gone away for you, and so
I'm aware.
but he's going to say, "Well, does it still hurt, or like, can we keep going, or do I need to go back?" Like,
Pain sensation has faded.
okay, so, does that mean we've gotten stronger?
I have increased my pain tolerance and punishment threshold, but my current state needs to recover to said new threshold.
Alrighty then. But the pain stopped, so...
For now, yes.
Hello, we are still alive here in your stomach, if you are the
Please,
thing, or...
host, do not further antagonize entity.
Host,
This
please,
is illogical
please
and
stop,
ill-advised.
Please, host, please stop.
Alright. I'll leave a note and we'll go back to the shitty building.
You may proceed. I highly advise to not further antagonize the entity here.
Look, whatever it is already welded up the door behind us, so I'm pretty sure it knows we're here. So,
yes.
next wall! And he's
As
gonna
you wish,
push
host.
through the wall before you even have a chance to respond.
As you wish, host.
And this is wall, what, 4 or 5
Yeah,
at this
4.
point?
Yep.
4.
It's only 4.
Doesn't fucking slow down a minute, does he?
No, he doesn't.
You must be so proud.
Alright, so what
Alright.
does he see behind wall number 4?
So, wall 4, considering there's a limited amount of things that I can do at this juncture, wall 4 just has another wall behind it. There's like 5 or 6 walls back to back.
Well, host, there's a lot of walls.
I had a lot of metal.
He's gonna chuckle to himself and say, "I have just the answer," while he rubs his hands together. I'm actually going to let you add 6 points of energy oscillation due to the sheer amount of phasing through walls that he's doing.
I've already been adding energy oscillation upgrades every time I roll. Based off of the percentile chance, because we've been practicing this.
Can I be observing these as well and roll and eat those rolls? Or add those rolls?
Yeah, you can be rolling energy observance against every roll. If you make higher, then I'll let you gain.
Okay.
No, I've only been adding if I've had a higher roll, which is not hard when it started at 7.
So which rolls have you made so far? What have you rolled?
I've rolled progressively higher every time he does a phase, I've rolled for it. And
Okay,
if it's higher,
so
I just add the 10s.
Okay, so 56, 119, 23, and 105.
Yep, I've been adding the 10s place each time, as long as the roll is higher. It's still not very high, but we've had a lot of instances of it.
Yes, we have.
Walls!
No, hang on a second. You're rolling both your control dice. and adding your control to that
Oh, I didn't add
observance?
control to shit. I only rolled
Well, he's
energy
talking
oscillation
about
I'm
me.
plus a
asking
1d1.
Alex.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
Look at
because
what he just rolled.
Oh, that's a big roll.
it's spicy rolls. Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 100 plus your observance.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, because I have 2d100 now. I have 2 dice, which means that my maximum bonus is 200, which means I can roll my full control bonus, which is currently a 132. And then I'm adding the energy observation, which is the 1, because you said I had 1 point in it.
Right. What I was saying is for energy observation, it would be 1d100 plus 1.
Why? Because I paid the thing to get 2d100 on my rolls.
That's for control rolls.
Right, but aren't these all control rolls?
Technically, energy observation is a skill of its own.
Right, but it's still got to be based off a stat, right?
It's 100 plus its modifier, which is its stat. That's the way skills work. Because you can only get so good with a skill before it reaches its max.
Right, but when it reaches its max, I just roll my control anyway on it, don't I? It's just a raw control roll at that point.
Control has more to do with freaking your manipulation of the physical body
Right.
and less to do with your observation of the world around you.
Except that I have to use, like, I essentially have to use the physical body for everything because I don't have a host. Because that was one of the things that we brought up before was the fact that the host has to essentially help you in order for you to be able to add your control roll to stuff. But since I had to get to a 100 control just so that I could manipulate the body, I'm the one doing all the work. So by that ruling that you made before, I should always be adding my control rolls because the body's working in perfect harmony. I'm just the only one. I'm just the only pilot.
Right.
All the other Power Rangers are absent, so I had to use the Megazord myself.
Right. But so what I'm getting at with this, with you specifically because you have the brain dead host, in this case, I will say that you don't get the 132 modifier. You get the freaking 2 100s plus 1.
Okay. That at least makes sense. I would like the thing that I paid for.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I understand, and you make a good point about the fact that you don't have a host to actually be able to
to help me up.
Yeah, to help you out. So because you're having to operate this body alone, I'll let you use your controlled dice.
Okay.
But you don't get the modifier.
That's
you just
fine.
get the skill modifier.
Those are still all higher than his.
And so I will, if you minus the modifier down, I will give you the tens place on those to your observation.
Okay. I will fucking do this shit by hand because it's faster. Where's my pencil?
Like literally just take the final number and minus 132.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go dig through those. Essentially, I'm watching him as he tears his way through my defenses because I'm trying to figure out what weaknesses I have in them. My character is fully of the belief that at this juncture, between me and the egg, I have enough raw power that I can beat him if he gets all the way through it, but I want to know how another host would attempt that. So the short version is that I'm going to let him tear through these walls with minimal external manipulation. I'm just like Once he tears through a wall, I put another plate over it. I've got my various traps and stuff set up. Once he tears through these like other 6 walls, he'll just be in the center. It'll be a long walk because I haven't had time to finish building the thing because I only had 2 days and there's a limit to what I can do in 2 days by myself, no matter how gifted I am.
How
But
gifted
yeah.
are you?
I'm incredibly gifted. Not to be,
He's about as gifted as 20,000 people, give or take
Give or take.
7,000. But freaking, so basically,
Damn it.
he's just gonna freaking melt through the rest of the walls
Mhm.
and make his way towards the largest power source, which would be the egg.
No, actually.
Oh, what is the largest power source then?
Me. Because currently I'm displaying a power source of 480.
6
The-
more walls?
The egg is displaying a power source of 140. Because I'm
Alright,
releasing, or
so
I'm displaying some of my power to draw him to me instead. The egg
alright,
is
well
not
he's
to be touched.
beelining to you then.
Okay,
Alright,
it's
so
literally
6 more
just
walls?
yeah, 6 more walls.
I do like how you've got the ability to conceal, but you are actively choosing to relinquish it on one specific part of you
Right?
to attract attention away.
You don't fuck with the nest egg.
Alright, so he beelines his way to you, melting through walls, 6 more walls down.
Yep. In the center, there's sort of a big open, like, Thunderdome space. My character has a carefully made table that is made of, like, car chunks. And it has been, like, hammered flat and put on, like... Essentially, it's a milk carton or a milk crate table, and there are 2 chairs made from, like, driver or passenger bucket seats for cars. And the character is sitting in one of them. The one that is facing the door, like the back of it is facing the way that he burned his way through, is empty. So I'm watching him as he burns through the last wall.
Happy now, host?
He's going to look around. What form are you taking, Alex?
So currently, my actual host isn't there. This is a bug that I have reconstituted to look like me, and I'm speaking through it.
Alright, not a problem. So you are taking a human form.
Yes. There's a
Alright.
person there with sort of like grungy, like Dead City outfit, like tattered jeans, like a couple of shirts that are like there's like a tank top, a wife beater kind of shirt with like a heavy sweater over it. And there's like sort of like ratty sort of like cloth gloves with the fingers cut off. And sort of like very like durable looking like workman boots that is currently sitting in a chair that is made out of like a driver's seat.
Alright, well, the host is going to walk up and sit on a bucket and everything.
There's no
and
bucket. The whole room is completely empty.
You literally just said there were buckets sitting around this
Bucket
makeshift table.
seats, my guy. As in like from a car, there's like
Oh,
when you have a like when the whole front seat is fused together, that's a bench seat.
No, I get what you're saying then. I missed the whole bucket seats. When you said bucket seats, my brain started thinking buckets
Actual
as
buckets.
seats.
No.
Yeah,
I have a
buckets
ton of
as
cars.
seats.
That's where I'm getting all my resources from.
No, I totally get what you mean now.
Oh,
My
good.
brain was just somewhere else. But yeah, so he's gonna walk up and just sit down in one of the seats and freaking hold out his hand and say, "Hi, I'm your neighbor."
I'm gonna form a voice receptacle on the side of his neck. I'm still training him. Apologies.
He's gonna look to his left and say, "Quiet, neck."
No.
Apparently, my neck talks now.
Heavy sigh. Expression of exasperation. Expression of trepidation.
Okay.
Any response to that?
So this lady is, sort of
No,
like,
it's a oh, your character. Okay.
yes. So this is my character art. So this is sort of like a
Female
lady
Alex
with,
Mercer.
yeah, female Alex Mercer. Sort of like Latino features, really tall, like unreasonably tall, especially for like a Latina who usually top out about 5.5. She's pushing like 5'10", 5'11". Um, but she's proportioned in such a way that she's still got human proportions. She's just bigger. Um, and she sort of looks at you and slowly blinks. And the compound eyes she's got when she's looking at you, when she blinks, they turn into normal person eyes. And you see a slither of symbiote come off of one of them. So one of them is symbiote covered and one of them is normal.
Okay, so one of them is solid red and looks to be covered with formed out of some sort of gem, where a red gem, like a ruby, and the other one is a normal human eye.
This one is called Jormungand.
This one is host. I am Panopticon.
You have
I
a
don't like
voice.
being called host.
You haven't picked a name for yourself. What am I supposed to refer to you?
I will be the Dread Pirate Roberts until I come up with a better name.
Do you want that whole title, or just Roberts?
No, the Dread Pirate Roberts. If you don't get what I'm referencing, then go fuck yourself.
That is actually physically impossible.
It has not discovered humor yet.
This one has humor. This one just doesn't wish to play by his humorous role. And yes, anything Dread Pirate Roberts knows, this one does as well.
There is
This one just
disunity.
didn't find what he said was humorous.
It is rude.
It is.
Why have
I
you
feel
come
like
into my
I'm being
home,
talked
neighbor?
about.
It wasn't very neighborly, but I'm not in control.
She looks at him and she's like, "Why have you come to my home, neighbor, Dread Pirate Roberts?"
I was bored and my neck had me sitting in a room filled with shit.
We were studying. There were biologicals that you had ceased their living function and vitality, and thus they began the
You left the
rotting
biological
cycle.
material there.
Right. We were studying decay over time. This one was unfortunately perturbed by the olfactory assault.
She's gonna hold her hand up and just look at it for a second. I'm gonna make a decay power. And I'm going to decay part of my host.
Okay, so roll a D100.
Boop.
All right, so you have 6 points to the ability to decay what you're looking at, but it's going to cost 10 power per point.
Interesting.
I had shut off its oil factory sensors so that it was not offended by the smell, but it was able to.
Smell it anyway?
Well, you
Yeah.
rerouted control through your own means, and it's not my particular fault that you wanted to smell your surroundings. When I turned it off for that very reason, because it would offend you.
There is disunity.
There is much disunity, and I must take my headset off because my foot just collided with a massive pound of dog shit.
Delightful.
Delightful. Waka 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 waka.
Right? I'm rolling in response to your host's oscillation usage. My decay is at 6. How delightful. How delightful. Time, you say?
Time! Which is time. I'm still trying to figure that out. Because apparently I don't know.
I see.
Ew.
Okay, I'm back. And when I say a pound, I mean a pound. One of my dogs is part shepherd, the other one is full pit.
Hmm.
Yes, not pleasant. What the hell am I seeing rolled?
Oh, I'm rolling counter rolls against his energy oscillation to improve my own.
And there were 12 of them?
Yeah, I rolled 2d100 and he rolled 6 rolls.
Right. So, only 2 of those count per one.
Yep.
Alright.
I'm already doing the math out.
Alright. So, where were we? Yes, you just made a
Decay.
decay power on your hand.
Interesting.
In which particular way?
I am intaking a new idea.
Fascinating idea.
So if I breach a 100 on a skill, then it stays at a 100, or does it improve because I have two dice now?
The modifier will stay at a 100 for the skill.
Okay.
And that's simply because skills are going to run into a cap where simply what they are cannot be improved any further. With the perfect example being our friend Blatt's recycling, there is no way recycling can go above 100%.
That's fair. You have an efficient energy usage. How have you accomplished this?
This one watches and observes the usage of power from the depleting reservoir. And just like all energies, there is always some waste. This one attends to use and absorb and recycle all waste energy, reducing power expenditure to a minimum to prolong continued existence and power usage, since it is a finite resource as of this moment.
It is not.
The power energy resource is what you're referring to?
It is not finite. It is simply non-renewable in current host.
That is what this one theorized.
Other hosts
More experiments are
can be
necessary for further discovery.
invested. Like when you start talking, she just stops talking.
And then I'll finish and wait.
Yes, further experimentation is needed.
Understood. So our host just sitting there, my host just sitting there like, the fuck?
Would you like someone to converse with, host Dread Pirate Roberts?
Yes, I would. I have been sitting here with just a voice in my head. I'm pretty sure I'm crazy, but,
And
besides that fact, what did you have in mind? He says with a very Jack Nicholson expression, smiling way too big.
She very casually lifts a hand and then forms a pointing finger behind him.
He's gonna look over his shoulder.
He doesn't have to. He sees right behind him. He doesn't need to look behind his shoulder. He sees it.
Fully, there's a bug there.
This is why he's looking over his shoulder the way he is. He's gonna look over and look back at her and say, "That's a bug."
That is Bug. He is a bug. I made him. And the thing's capture orifice just squelches open like a jaw unhinging. And an anatomically perfect version of the actress from Princess Bride comes tumbling out with what is almost certainly a like soft, downy, almost feathery looking version of the crushed velvet dress that she wore in the first couple of scenes. Or not in the first couple of scenes, but in the scene where she's kidnapped.
That creation of yours is very industrious.
He's gonna look. The host is gonna look at this and look back at her and then say, "Whoever you ate, I want to meet him."
All of them?
The one responsible for this?
I made that. I know the reference that you are making to a previous piece of entertainment.
Alright. get me Andre the Giant's 30-second fart, and we are freaking working here.
You require methane expulsion?
I don't know the answer to this either.
He's gonna freaking look over at you and say, never mind, you don't get the reference.
Host, also known as the Dread Pirate Roberts, I could just cycle in air through your flatulation device as long as you wish. You can have an endless flatulation if that is what you desire.
I do not actually want the fart. It was a reference to something funny.
I still did not find the biological system. I will shelve that for later.
It look, if it wasn't
Expression of
Andre the
confusion.
Giant, it didn't matter. Alright, it was about it being Andre the Giant.
Do you require this specimen?
Disinterest.
He's going to say, wait a minute, you can introduce me to Andre the Giant? Wait, is it the real Andre the Giant, or is it just you looking like Andre the Giant?
The bug collapses into an egg, and then the egg stretches like a film, and out comes Andre the Giant, anatomically perfect, at least
Alright,
in
I'm
so
gonna
much
make you
as a
roll
guess can be
control
made,
for this.
based
I'ma make
off
you
of the
roll
visualizations of the people I've eaten.
I'm gonna make you roll your control for this one.
Okay,
'Cause you're
let's roll
producing
control.
Andre the fucking Giant.
There you go. Seven-foot tall, dense as an anvil, thick as a raft.
Alright.
And wearing period piece clothing because she's specifically making the Princess Bride version of him.
Right. So you successfully make the character, but when he says, "Holy shit, it's Andre the fucking Giant! You did it!"
Hello.
The character does not actually react as Andre the Giant.
No,
but
he reacts as
instead
Fezzik.
as the character. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so he is going to be like, that's what I thought. It's just a fake. Alright, whatever. As you were, talk about the boring science stuff of the brain.
And they'll literally just, like, whatever he wants these two to do, they'll do.
Oh.
He can have them do anything. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They're literally just meat, and if he breaks the meat, I'll just collapse it and reform it.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. As soon as he realizes that it's not, actually them, then he is like disinterested.
That's fair. If he's disinterested,
don't be
they'll
ungrateful.
turn back into bug.
Host, don't be ungrateful. That probably cost a lot of energy to do so.
It costs nothing.
Oh.
The energy is already present. There is no need to manipulate it further.
It is as you say.
And technically, he's right. Out of character, that's just shape-shifting.
Hmm?
That doesn't cost any power.
While they're here, I'm also making expenditures into my power concealment to try and essentially make things, since I've got a subject here, I'm going to try and improve, since I've got a subject here, I'm going to try and improve power concealment so that I can take the 140 visible power of the egg and try and make it so that it's just not there no more.
Observe?
Please do. I'm counting on it.
Alright, so, concealment versus observation. There, will be a concealment bonus gained, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will beat his observation bonus.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to beat that in order to do better, like in order to gain off of that, and he can potentially gain concealment in and of himself from this.
Yeah, no.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you're not actually gaining concealment from that, but or you
I'm
will.
aware.
Alex will gain it, but yeah, from looking at the rolls, yeah,
Mm.
30 will come nowhere close to 119
Yeah.
And I'll just keep
or
making it work.
1970 or 197 or whatever. Fuck, I am thinking too much about work.
Oh,
I'm thinking about everything with fucking 4 to 5 decimal points.
that's unfortunate.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, you can make a bunch of rolls if you want. Please do.
I,
If I roll like
There's-
ass, you have a chance to make it. And if this conversation goes well, there's no reason that I wouldn't give it to you.
Mhm.
It's just all about that.
So essentially, you're not going to be able to ever make the egg completely invisible. The most you'll be able to do is make it look like an actual bug would look. So
So like a 1.
small and insignificant, not invisible.
So out of
Never invisible.
curiosity, my question here is again, does power concealment not work like his like his energy recycling, like his energy efficiency?
What do you mean by that?
So like if I reach 100 at power concealment, would I not be able to conceal 100% of something's power?
If he reaches 100% of energy recycling, he cannot recycle 100% of power.
Sure.
The best you're going
I
to
have
get
to
is
spend at least
99.
one.
The
Hmm.
best you're
Okay.
going to get at the best possible roll with the best modifier is basically going to be a 99
I
Okay.
agree with
as
that
far as percentage goes.
because I'm still I'm still using power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing comes from nothing. All right.
Unless I use the environment's power, like I manipulate the environment to pay the cost for me.
But there is a cost. That is something that you can ask Shada about, Alex.
Uh-huh.
The guy behind the chalkboard was very clear. Everything has a
Of course
cost.
he was. He has opinions.
Opinions.
Yes, but his opinions don't matter when it comes to Shada and Claire because he literally staked everything he has on them. Literally, they're doing well is good for him. For whatever his plan is, his whole thing hinges on the two of them.
Well,
That seems like a bad choice for him then.
if we end up completely just causing too many problems, I don't think he's put all of his eggs in one basket. Yikes.
Hey, freaking, maybe he put all his eggs in one basket, or maybe that's the only basket the motherfucker's got.
Could be. In which case, he
Could
seems
be.
like a shit person to take advice from if he let himself get stuck
I'll
in that
stare
kind
at
of position.
something.
Hmm?
You
Hey.
did that. Is that you doing that?
What?
You are obfuscating the signatures. I can't tell if that is you, so which is why I'm asking.
She's just going to give herself that 99%. She effectively disappears from symbiote sight.
It is. That is a fascinating skill. You have much control over it.
You
Now,
have helped.
granted, at this point, you're going to flicker back into existence fairly quickly.
I maxed it out, bud.
Excuse me.
I had a previous 50, and with the 3 rolls I've just made now, taking the tens column, that gives me a 52 on top of my original 50.
Okay, then I'll have you make one more roll to maintain.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
I only made one roll. Why are you making multiple counter rolls against my singular roll?
I mean, by all means, make more rolls.
No. I'm having a dialogue with you first before I continue to roll. So you get one roll against it at the 50, and then the other 2 rolls don't
Yeah.
happen.
50, so
Yeah,
it becomes
no.
a 70. All right.
No, he's got a point there.
That's fair.
He does have a point.
Just to see you smile. Boop. Alaka. Boop.
And so, like I said, stands, you'll flicker out of existence to appearing the size of a fucking housefly to him before flickering back to your regular state.
Interesting.
I have discovered the benefits of attacking from a position of stealth.
Host and I, the Dread Pirates Roberts, also see value in this. Although Roberts, that is the Dread Pirate, has moments of expenditure of power where he wishes to act in the open rather than exercise his gift of discretion.
I get bored, he says.
That's the one. That's the one.
Andre the Giant and Princess Buttercup, Fezzik and Buttercup are doing a delightful waltz. Just like they're testing various bodily functions, given the different sizes involved.
He's just watching, but he's gonna say, look, if they start testing certain bodily functions, I'm out.
Noted. Reproduction makes you uncomfortable, neighbor.
Well, it's not that reproduction makes me uncomfortable, it's that... Well, have you seen the size difference?
Yes.
That is exceptional research data.
I made them.
Yeah, now I feel like neither of you understand what I'm saying.
You are
That is
speaking.
all right, Dread Roberts. That is the pirate.
You are speaking as to the girth of his reproductive organ, and the likelihood of damaging her pelvic region.
I'm speaking of all the things I don't want to have to try and forget.
He
I can
fixates
make
on
you
the
forget.
person that shot him on the head. Despite killing the individual personally by shooting them in the head, he is still not recovered and continues to bring up that he was shot in the head.
Do you have examples?
Because
Despite
I
being
got
perfectly
shot in the fucking face with a
You were
shotgun.
perfectly fine.
Do you understand just how traumatizing it is to get shot in the face with a fucking shotgun?
I
No.
experienced that exact same thing alongside with you. I have that memory as well. I too have been shot in the face. You do not hear me complain and whine about it.
And he's going to say, well, nobody fucking asked you.
That is fair. No one did ask me. I apologize.
There is disharmony amongst you. Why?
Host has opinions.
Yes. I feel envy for this.
Expression of resignation and resignment. Expression of non-dissatisfaction. Expression of smugness.
It should be noted that over time, hosts' differences will start to lean towards the path dictated by player.
Is that out
So
of character? Is
yes,
that from the GM?
out
Okay.
of character. Yes.
Okay.
So over time, the host will become more amicable with what you want. It's merely
Sure.
a matter
He's
of...
bored, so whatever. I have to deal with human boredom. That can be a lethal concoction of stubbornness and fuck it. We'll find out later.
Yep.
Exactly.
Prepare.
Exactly.
It is
That's
now
what
time
you're
to fuck
dealing
around.
Oh fuck. Damn it! we're gonna have such a bill of find out later. This is gonna be. Oh no! Don't do it, host. Think of the consequences. Not the children. Fuck the children. What about the consequences?
Your presence here.
Yeah,
that's
that
where we're at.
that reminds me of the old Warhammer thing of freaking the salamanders saying we must save the children. It's the only right thing to do. And the Iron Hands saying if we stack the children, we can get more civilians out. And the World Eaters just saying, children, there were no children.
There are no children, or there were no children. There's a distinct difference, my
There
guy.
were no children.
World Eaters are Slaneshi. There were no children.
World Eaters just kill everything. Then they eat what remains, so it's up to you to trust what they say was
I'm thinking of
there.
the
You
word
mean
bearers.
there are no children now, but there were at one point in time.
No, at the point that they were the freaking damn, and you might be right, but at the point in time that it all took place, they were still trying to pretend to be good.
Regardless, there were children. There currently aren't any.
So they're literally
They were
just lying,
delicious.
saying there were no children.
And
Because
honestly,
they didn't
I don't
even
expect them to
stop
be smart.
think at that point. When they were on the field, there was no thought involved. It was
Look,
just
the World Eaters are
hey.
not extolled for their intelligence.
Well,
So
some of
them
them were.
mixing up pence, it's I don't care. They're too
Look,
stupid to convince
some of
otherwise.
them were. It was just a simple matter that the ones that weren't strong enough as the ones that weren't.
Mm.
There was literally a whole fucking revolution that went on with that shit.
Well, let's get back to our revolution at this juncture, huh, gents?
Exactly.
I find you fascinating and agreeable.
Oh, good. I do not wish to be a bad neighbor.
I apologize for my host. He has expressed several tendencies of bad neighborism.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Did knock and shout for anybody home to answer. So.
by the knowledge put in my codex, specifically from the knowledge that I have gleaned from you, neighbors, when they approach the domicile or territory of your adjacent neighbor or someone within the same territory range, when there is no response, what is the usual action taken thereof?
Well, if I'm going by my current history, my most recent history, it's oh yeah, to shoot him in the fucking face.
No, host, also known as the Dread Pirate Roberts. The knowledge within your skull has indicated that you leave and come back to try again when they potentially could be home. Then the location in which you assaulted with extreme violence and a lot of kinetically charged projectiles was against an individual and a group that had assaulted you and or shot you in said face. So I wish to help you with that trauma by facing your fear, facing your trauma, and putting it 6 feet under, using a colloquialism that I have also gleaned from your own memories.
Correct, but what you fail to realize is considering that the last neighbors I had shot me in the face, when this neighbor didn't respond, how was that not a viable option?
Oh, it was
You
an
know, to
incredibly
shoot them in
viable
the
option.
face.
They left a sign.
Yes.
The sign said "fuck off." That's
Right.
not undifferent than shooting somebody in the face.
I am now
That is
cognizant
extremely
that the sign
different.
does not work, and I can replace it.
The sign specifically gave it very explicit instructions with very little room to self-interpret. Beyond the punctuation, next time you provide the sign, one called Jormungand, please provide punctuation, because that was left up to how the tonality of the instructions left there by the sign. It was left up to interpretation. I was kind of wrapped up on it.
The information I gleaned from those I have already consumed indicated that the phrase regardless of punctuation was meant to be detrimental, or at the very least, to suggest that you should depart with haste. Now that this is no longer understood, I will change the sign.
You want my advice? Say, welcome, come in, and then put the spike trap.
I will add more spike traps.
Gravity is a very powerful force.
Yes. I have learned that we are currently situated on top of a solid state sphere that is of sufficient mass to draw other mass towards its center. If I can negate gravity on an object, it would go hurling away at speed.
That would be something worth researching and studying through experimentation and discovery.
Currently,
Yeah,
doing
what's
so,
the point
however,
of the big dome with spikes anyway?
It is a lure. The dome also possesses several layers.
Yeah, I melted through most of those.
You melted through them on the ground level. The above ground level also possesses several layers. It is designed as a honey trap. Everyone seeks to find the center of the dome, in which there are only drones. The target that you search for is elsewhere.
So what's the honeypot?
Everyone believes there is something of value at the center.
One would not provide enough defenses and effort if there was not something worth protecting. It is the concept that the more you protect something, the more value that is hidden within.
Just so. There was an organization of people that are havers of things. Possessions are important to them. I have gleaned many lessons from their consumption.
Yes. I actually plan to do a commerce experiment in the upcoming times, once we've come across enough habitable and civilized individuals who have still an established trade. I've accumulated a lot of goods into which Miss Swan hopes will spark enough interest that they are willing to do a commerce with this host, the Dread Pirate Roberts, and I.
Would you like to Congress?
Congress or commerce?
Yes.
All right. This would be fun. This one has accumulated a significant number of firearms, as well as the intoxicating liquid known as alcohol.
I understand this. It can be used to make fire.
Or intoxicate.
It is generally insufficient when compared to the chemicals inside of a brain.
Duly noted. But it is a poison in which the local population of individuals freely imbibes.
Yes, which means it can be polluted with more potent strains in order to ensure their imbibement. Ingestion will lead to consumption or modification as necessary.
Alright, I might not know much, but y'all's talking about getting drunk, so, I am perfectly willing to test any concoction you come up with.
Very well. And she literally hands him a small, like, ball that is like a gel.
And he's going to take this and say, so it's like a jello shot before taking a bite out of it.
Oh, it's like the size of like your thumbnail. It's like maybe 3 pills put together in size, like mushed together in size. He just pops that
Host,
sucker in his mouth.
also known as the Dread Pirate Roberts, please proceed with caution. This is an unknown substance in which, if it is of significant potency and efficacy, this one, Panopticon, will have to assist you in surviving it, or at least processing it.
Well, that depends. What all he put in it? He said. It says after he swallows it.
Oh, good.
Heavy sigh of resignation.
So what happens is the symbiote unfurls and partitions a portion of his power.
Oh, within the host?
Yeah.
Within a matter of seconds, the symbiote dissolves into fucking nothing.
That's fine. It doesn't have to dissolve into nothing. Or it doesn't have to last long. It literally just envelops a portion of his energy and then immediately transfers it into the shared subspace, and then it dissolves away. And then I
But
will
the
Captured.
whole thing is the moment it enters that pure source of energy, it freaking will either A, burn away, or we're going to create a freaking sort of conflict where one of you has to freaking basically consume the other.
I intend to give back the energy as a note.
You are about to interact with a thing that I have to contest with at all times that you don't have to. So you'll actually get a really cool piece of information that with a living, sentient, operating, active host, there's a different thing at play. So I'd see it just burn up and you go, huh, so
Why
that's
does
what
Why does it burn up immediately? I don't burn up immediately when I come in contact with a power source.
Because this is, in short, in the most layman terms, this is essentially the soul of the host.
Right, I know.
All right, you are left a soulless host that can't focus its power, but this one, when it feels that from swallowing some shit, it's going to say, I need to break this down.
Sure. And so
And
the point
it's
is,
gonna burn up.
that's fine. The point is, it's allowed to be disposable. It just has a job to do before it's disposed of.
I've also isolated it.
True, but to steal a portion of power, it's a little more complicated than that. The best method, there's always going to be the potential for complete and total loss of whatever tries to consume another, if
Sure.
it is conscious and sentient, and another stray. So literally,
Right.
the guy that mastered it, his method is to use a swarm of tiny fucking things that are all trying and freaking half of them failing. Literally, so that it has more chances to roll a success.
Right.
So for this one
here's my
move,
statement.
you get one shot at it.
Right. But we get a shot. We get a roll off, right?
Yes, you get a roll off. But if you lose, the opponent could essentially turn this one bite into full consumption.
Yep. I know. There are methods in place. I have been very carefully building a tricksy little power set.
Well, you tried to deceive him, and
I didn't
at
try to
this
deceive
point,
him. I gave him a thing. He said he will
You
take
gave-
anything that I give him. I gave him a thing. He is as willing as a person can be to imbibe this object.
No,
He's an
absolutely.
idiot.
He is
But
an
that
idiot.
doesn't mean that
But
he's not freaking fully willing to burn off anything he consumes.
hmm? Does he know how?
I do.
Do you?
Look, at this point, he thought hard enough about fucking melting shit and phasing through walls, so
Hmm?
he freaking
Comes down
he's
to just give us the roll. Simple as that.
so
What is he rolling versus what am I rolling? Bonuses, additions, so on and so forth.
at this point it's just control versus control.
Is it? Because I have a power called partition, which is designed specifically to take portions of power, carve it out of the whole, and then isolate it.
But that doesn't work on things other than you. That is how you
Why
partition
not?
your own power out.
No, my guy, because that's how I managed to accumulate the power from all those other people. I had to isolate it, remember? Because that shit does bad things to me because it's
No,
foreign.
you oscillate it to convert it,
Right, but I haven't
and
done that.
then you partition it, which is what you can only do with your power.
No. I'm going to fight you on this one because I had to do this a bunch. Because remember, I didn't oscillate the power that I acquired from all those people until during the daytime. I had to partition it individually to maintain it inside of the bugs.
You're literally partitioning your symbiote off.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
What do you think I gave him? That's why I said
But-
the symbiote uncurls, partitions a piece of it, and then transfers it and is destroyed.
Okay, but the symbiote and the power are separate.
Right.
Alright? The
I feel
symbiote
like-
comes into contact with the power, it burns out.
Right.
That's the
But
whole
it doesn't
reason.
burn out immediately. That's the point I'm making. Because when I came in contact with my power initially, it damaged me, it didn't kill me entirely. And we've already established canonically that I can use excess biomass in order to form more of myself as a symbiote.
True, it didn't burn you out instantly,
Mhm.
but at the same time, this was your power within dead, soulless, freaking brain dead host,
Mm-hmm.
and then normal human power, which is
Mhm.
far, far less than that of a stray who is, quote, over 9,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I am currently operating inside the area of influence that I have in the junkyard, which means that I have all of the
But-
control that I have available to me, and I have an overwhelming power of 111,000 plus or minus.
True, but that area of
Oh, excuse me,
influence does not
151,000.
extend within another stray.
Sure, but that's why they just willingly ingested a piece
It's
of
a Manton
me.
effect.
He willingly
more-
ingested
Oh,
something,
I know.
but that
I read
does
Worm.
not.
I'm the one that suggested it to you, my man, years ago.
I know. I have a Manton effect. So the very thing that is preventing me from doing what you do to your host is a very mechanism in which the host can then protect us with.
Exactly.
No.
The very
No. Let me finish.
the
please.
very same aspect
Okay,
that
you're not going to let me finish.
protected. No, I'm just saying the very same aspect that prevented him from being able to block out the host's smell is what's in effect right now.
Right. So here's the thing. That shouldn't matter. Because at the moment, I have fully had a portion of my symbiote ingested and directly exposed to his well of power.
Absolutely. Which
Yes. Now hold on. I'm not done yet. That's step one. Step two, you have previously introduced the idea that in order to take power from another person, there is either a contested roll-off or They have to be willing.
Willing to transfer power. We're
Right.
talking like with a human, your freaking pheromones and everything, they'd make a person willing and just give up their freaking life force to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're dealing with something that's literally got built-in defenses against
Right.
that.
All of which I have bypassed.
No,
Because,
that's the whole
yes,
thing. The
because
last one,
he literally is of a mindset to be manipulated by something I have offered him. He literally, you said he popped that thing in his mouth, and then his symbiote went, hey, wait a minute, that's really fucking stupid of you. And he went, oh yeah, I should probably have not done that. At that juncture, I would say yes, his defenses could kick in. But by that juncture, the power well inside him will have already dissolved the symbiote.
but
My
the whole thing
mhm.
is it's whether or not that power level inside that soul is willing to let go. And this, we're
Mm,
talking straight astray confrontation here. We're talking, hey, freaking, there's a thing called the deal. The deal was
mhm,
not made. All right? The
mhm.
deal is a
So it
very
requires a
specific
wizarding
power.
oath. It requires a wizard's soul-bonded oath in order to ever take power from another stray.
No, and not necessarily. That requires a control roll off to freaking fully to just consume another one without their will.
Mhm.
And in which case becomes a very long drawn out thing where you're trapped inside freaking a mental space between the two of you vying for control. Things get freaking heated, and that's why the guy that mastered that ability's whole thing was
Right.
let's use a bunch of tiny things
Except that
that
guy's a
all.
fucking putz.
Yeah, except that guy is the freaking only guy that actually knows what's really going on.
Except that he he doesn't know what I've got going on. And the fact of the matter is, what we're looking at here is that I have been directly exposed to this guy's source of power. Now, if you're telling me that my partition ability doesn't apply here, that's fine. I'll erase it off my character sheet because it does nothing. Because by your own rules, I can already partition myself off. I can make
No,
more copies of myself.
I allowed that partition to take place without you handing off the dice.
Except that I didn't have dice at the time, and the only requirement at the time was a 200 control. That's the only requirement you gave me at that
Look,
time.
the requirement at that time was that you got the 200 control and
Yep.
separated it into two dice so that you could give one die to one and one to the
That was
other.
never a condition of
But
our arrangement, nor was giving
no,
one to the bounty hunter.
look, that was what I had intended. Then I allowed you to use partition to do so without doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happened.
So the problem with
And
that is that if I used that partitioning effect at a 200 power, I would have a 0 control. Meaning that it's impossible for me to divide any amount of control between the two creatures. They would
no,
each essentially
you
be starting creatures.
they would each get a D100 with no
Yes.
modifier.
Yes, with 0 control. Because I had to burn up
But
my
that is a
200
total of
control.
200 control.
No, it's not.
No,
Because you said that.
2D100s, that's how that was supposed to operate. Now,
Except.
I let you use partition to do that. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting everybody freaking do things to the best of my ability within what I can see as reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? And I'm willing to, as you've seen, if you got a good point, I'm willing to freaking concede good points but to a degree, I have to put my foot down on some things. And so I'm saying your partition is useful, all right? Don't think it's a bad idea. It's been very useful to you. It's what's allowed you to make a fucking nest this early in the fucking game. Now, at the same time, that doesn't mean that you can partition off a part within another's power source and not suffer the effects of the fact that you couldn't even touch your own blood without burning.
Right. And you're apparently not catching the part where I said that's okay. I'm okay with burning. I have a huge stockpile of hit points. An absolutely colossal amount of hit points that I can recover with at essentially any point at will. I have all the biomass I could want. Now, the thing is, this symbiote drop isn't designed to be permanent. It's designed to do one thing and then die. Now, the reason I'm using it at all is because you did warn me about the nature of a contested roll, and if I fail, I'm just gone. If the other guy fails, they're just gone. That is an insane mechanic, and if I built my entire character around it, I'd just be taking scalps, right? What this does is it allows me to take part of a well of power without having to consume the whole person. I essentially get a chunk because what I'm doing is the symbiote is now anchored in their soul. It's burning up, and it just opens a space, opens a pathway to the reservoir, to the place, the subspace pocket that we all have.
The real
Because remember, I did
question
some
is
experiments.
So you're yanking him into the subspace pocket. That's
No, I'm not yanking him into the subspace pocket. Remember, I did an experiment with the subspace pocket and the nature of power within it. Power immediately diffuses into the subspace pocket as far as it can. It spreads and diffuses because it's concentrated inside of creatures. Which means that opening a subspace pocket for a brief period of time in the well of power from another creature diffuses the power to make it less lethal as much of it as can fit through the portal floods in.
My question.
But now there. Okay, I'll take Blatt's question after I answer this one thing.
Connectivity. Can you establish that connection from within the singularity that is not only the host's body, with me at the helm, and within the soul? Are you able to even establish a connection to your own subspace at that point?
You're not within the soul. That's the trick. You can't get too close to it. You have to feed off of it at the very edges in order to not be burnt up by your own power.
Now, here's the point. Here's what I was getting at, which is, okay, say you yank a portion of his power into your subspace. So you think that power just becomes latent power?
No.
It stops being part of his soul?
It
And
becomes,
he energy oscillates it into his own power set.
That's the one. It becomes diffuse. It's essentially the difference between feeling your finger move and feeling an eyelash move.
He's not going to get the full power range. There's going to be some energy loss during the energy oscillation.
No, it's not even that. It doesn't even go into that. It goes into something else entirely, where you're actually going to force him into a power that he doesn't even understand yet, because alright, diffusal of power for a stray does not mean death and disconnection.
It shouldn't.
Alright?
Yeah. I'm not trying to kill him.
Literally, he's still going to be aware. The part of him in there is going to be him and aware,
Mhm.
because literally, Mr. Always getting shit on by you guys. Remember when Shada and them went into the school for the first time and it was full of smoke and everything? That was him
Nope.
diffused.
Nope.
All
I have
right.
no recollection of that whatsoever.
Neither do I.
Yeah, you have no recollection of it because the sound of your voice said that you have no recollection of that instead of
Precisely.
remembering specifically that he was a cloud of power in that motherfucker.
So I would
Yeah.
argue, if we're gonna have a roll off, that he gets a skill roll of his choice without power in his TD100. I get a defense roll with control with a power
Hold
or
on.
with a
Say that
skill.
again. I didn't hear it.
You get your TD100 with a skill.
Of your choice.
I get a skill, my 1D100, and I get my control.
If you get control, I should also get control.
No, I don't believe that at all.
The nature of the thing is that, again, there's no disharmony. He might have no idea what's going on when you need to seize control in order to help him. You guys have an adversarial relationship at this point in time.
Well, at this particular point, I will also point out that even if the host is unaware of what I'm trying to do, it always defends itself at all times. Foreign entities are burned out. Period. It's not a something that
No,
he has to be
and he
aware
does have a
of.
point with that because freaking even
Like,
your host body started fighting back against the freaking bacteria that began to consume it early on.
No, it didn't.
Right.
I
And he
killed
fought me
those.
at any time, even while I distract him. Even if he was sleeping or in a coma, it is still full bore and I make no progress. So,
No, the very same headache that he experiences when fighting against the host. You know, he's got a point. That whole thing of the host has its own mind and its own desires. So it will fight back even when it doesn't know it's in danger because it doesn't know shit. Its body is reacting on instinct.
So, as a note, does that mean then that at any point an ambush on a stray will automatically fail? No matter
That
what,
does
regardless
not.
inside their
of
body.
all circumstances, an ambush will automatically fail.
If it's
No.
inside their body.
It has for an ambush on a stray to function, there has to be multiple layers of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you literally have to tie them up in a fight and be attacking them
That's
through.
not an ambush, my guy. So you're saying that at no point can I jump off of a building and elbow drop a stray. They will immediately get a roll no matter what.
The only way, there is a way to ambush as you're referring to it,
Mm-hmm.
but the stray has to be tied up in something else already. So
Right.
the
Like watching a
stray,
pair of people that are moving around the room and doing strange things that are caricatures of things that he likes, as well as being offered drugs and listening to a conversation and being in a strange place. Like those
I will
distractions?
also point out, Jen,
Yeah.
I would like you to look at the clock.
Yeah.
How long do we
Actually,
have you for?
my old lady just hollered from the other room. It's literally shutdown time. I've been thinking about that for a little while. I just been trying to get to the end of this.
Don't worry about it. We're not going to get to the end of this on a very easy
So
manner.
what I will say is each of you bring your arguments to me in text. I will go over them. I will do research. I will do whatever the fuck I have to. I will get votes from my fucking family if I have to. But I will come to a conclusion on this by next time we play.
Okay.
All right.
All
Okay.
right? Y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all next time.
On Dragon Ball Stray. Alright, and with that, we are off the internet.